Hello everyone. It's that time of year again. Award season, I think. I don't know. But instead of reviewing one horror franchise for Halloween, I decided to just do them all at once. Fuck it. I'm your host, Grayson Todd, for this year's Horror Oscar Awardsies. Razzles. Pumpkins. Kick it. The best horror movie franchises ever. Slash the Horror Oscars. Slash me reviewing a bunch of movies at once and adding arbitrary awards to them that hold no value whatsoever. Or, I mean, the definitive list of horror franchises ever. Top 10. Click it. Fucking assholes, to set the rules. I wrote some down. This is a legitimate and professional channel after all. I will specifically be talking about franchises with 4+ films. 3 is a trilogy. I have to narrow it down to popular franchises. That means movies people have actually fucking heard of, so I'm sorry. No Puppeteer, no Ginger Dead Man, no Toys or The Howling. No one's really heard of the originals nor the sequels. So I'm gonna have to keep this to popular and well-known franchises. You know, I want people to fucking watch this shit. Oh my god, I can't. Look at this. How can I say no to this phrase? Leave. Maybe I'll do a version in the future with B movies that no one gives a shit about. Lastly, no action franchises. Resident Evil, Underworld, I'm looking at you. You're not horror. You're not even good action. You're just kind of movies. Not even good movies. I can't tell what's going on half the time. And without further ado, here are the Horror Franchise Oscars Awards thingy that I'm doing. Drumroll? The award for franchise that just isn't my jam goes to Child's Play. They just don't look like something I really want to watch. You know, intentional trash. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments or send your hate mail to 7245 Get Bent Avenue. Thank you. And the award for franchise with the biggest nosedive goes to Jaws. The first film is one of the greatest films ever made. The greatest. It has made so much money that Hollywood completely blew their chum all over the ocean, shitting out Jaws 2. It's the same movie, but again, and shittier. Followed by Jaws 3D, which is laughably horrible. And finally, Jaws the Revenge, which is just fucking retarded. The shark swims to the Bahamas to personally attack the Brodies for killing his shark brother. I mean, fuck. Guess I'm doing like the horror Razzies. The franchise I'd rather just not talk about goes to James Wan's films. That's right, I'm lumping Conjuring, Insidious, Annabelle, and I don't know, fuck it, the Ouija films, just all together. They're all the same shit, and I'd just rather not talk about it. Don't say it, don't think it. Fuck, I guess I'll add the Bye Bye Man to it too, just for giggles. Fuck all those films, I don't care. The prestigious award for franchise that has caused the most cinematic harm goes to Paranormal Activity. This franchise took found footage, which has worked pretty well in series such as Blair Witch Project, and I'd say very fucking good in the REC films. But this series has made it an excuse for just boring, just so goddamn boring, that the pacing I find harmful. I find it harmful for not inventing but making it viably successful.
What?
Oh, damn.
Oh, I actually thought it was a dog for a second.
I thought it was a person.
I thought it was a dog for a second. I thought it was a person.
The series' success sent out a message that horror doesn't need story, suspense, or characters really. It just needs jumps, and people, by people I mean children, will rave. The Uber Meta Franchise Award goes to Scream. Wes Craven stuck on as a director for all 4 films, giving them all a cohesive feeling and tone. Sure, they may have pushed the line between satire and actually falling into the cliches they were supposedly making fun of, but I believe it kept the core all the way through. Now, Scream the series, I try to keep it separate. It's not terrible, but it's forgettable. Scream Queen Season 1, however, captures the Scream satire better than the MTV series. The absolute bloodgasm award goes to the Evil Dead series. The Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead the 2012 remake, and now Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Some of my favorite things ever made, not just because of the gore. There is so much heart and so much care is put into every fucking frame. Almost 40 years later, and they're still having as much fun with the series as the original films did. The franchise that gets The Covenant, what the fuck is happening right now, award, and believe me, there are several contenders, but the one that baffles time and time again goes to Saw. Before James Wan was making Aquaman and Fast and the Furious films, he did a little film that was made to take place in one room for budgetary reasons, and that idea spiraled into Saw. Because if it's Halloween, it must be Saw.
If it's Halloween, it must be Saw.
And it fucking must be, because movie after movie, the audience is trapped in a continuity nightmare where the only escape is to shed off 630 hours of their lives. Plot twist so ridiculous that it's somehow both completely obvious and moronically out of left field. The deaths remain pretty creative throughout, though the style kind of wears me down after a while. 1 through 3 is a solid trilogy. 4 is fucking miserable. 5 is probably the best one after that. Rest in peace, Chester. Thoughts and prayers. The most consistent franchise goes to Friday the 13th. They're all consistently terrible. For a more in-depth view into my thoughts on each individual film, please check out my shameless plug right here. In short, this is a franchise that has gone to space, introduced metahumans, killed his villain. He's also been turned into a demon worm from hell that has crawled into his sister's vagina in order to gain back his mortal form. And they're all bad, bland, and pretty fucking boring. The most creative / charismatic villain goes to Nightmare on Elm Street for Freddy Krueger yakking up the place. The first film is an incredible display of suspense and creativity. Robert Englund developed Freddy into an icon, making every film consistently enjoyable. Even the bad one, Freddy's Dead, I'm looking at you. Wes Craven's first tiptoe into meta self-referential territory was with New Nightmare, and I honestly love all these films, despite some of them being really weak. Freddy's Revenge, oh, and the remake. I don't even want to consider remakes because if honestly I can open up to you, fuck this movie. Fuck this movie hard. Fuck it into a fire. The award for the greatest loss of potential goes to Halloween. The first one by John Carpenter is one of my favorite films of all time. The creeping suspense that is built throughout the film, underscored by Carpenter's sense. The follow-up is an inferior, though I think highly enjoyable sequel, with the memorable deaths and successfully captures the original's tone. Halloween 3, there was an attempt to turn Halloween into an anthology series, telling unrelated singular experiences. Well, that was met with outrage. People fucking rioted. So with part 4 and part 5, part 6, HBO, Resurrection, the remake, and the remake sequel, and now the remake, they all honor Michael Myers. They feel stale, and Michael becomes more and more of a joke, less threatening. The franchise that I have the greatest fanboy denial over is Alien. The first one is incredible. The second one is one of the greatest action films ever made. The third one is a bold, somber conclusion to the trilogy, with 4 resurrecting the series in an inventive and artful way. Prometheus brought back creator Ridley Scott to add an intellectual, thought-provoking question about life and philosophy and creation. Alien Covenant was a world-class example of how to follow up a movie. Hell, even the non-canon Alien vs. Predator films are mastery in bringing 2 heavyweights in a meaningful, impactful way. Overall, this series is perfect, 10 out of 10, not a single fucking flaw amongst them. The franchise that is the most all over the place goes to Romero's of the Dead series. I've always respected Romero for helming each of his films, exploring different themes, tones with each entry. Night of the Living Dead is outdated yet still extremely significant film. The first film to star a black man, also the first film to modernize zombies, as well we all know them now. Dawn is probably the best and the most fun film, going from a claustrophobic farm and living to a large Midwestern mall. The characters indulge and survive through consumerism. Day of the Dead takes place in a bunker with themes of what it truly means to be human. This is what I consider to be the last of the greats in the series. Land of the Dead is fine, though very cheesy and ham-fisted with a message. It's an enjoyable watch. Then Diary and Survival are just not great. The franchise that should have chainsawed itself in half goes to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I made a video about a particularly shitty entry into the series. Unlike other franchises, I entered this one relatively late, and fuck did I love it. Then I got to the second one, and it's even better. Then the mediocre third, first remake, second remake, the remake prequel, the third remake, and now the fourth remake prequel. Talk about beating a dead fucking horse. All my thoughts for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series also goes double for the Hellraiser series. The first 2 are great, and the rest fucking suck. Anyway, the greatest horror franchise to ever exist, solely based on my own opinion and no facts whatsoever, the Final Destination series. This is the most enjoyable and guilty pleasure films. They know exactly what they are, and they present them in satisfying ways. They're fun, energetic, and never get too bogged down by boring shit. The deaths are creative and fun. It never felt like it's trapped by having a mascot as the killer like Halloween does. And I like the idea of death being a force with an objective. It's fun, and it never gets too silly without self-awareness. That's why I'm giving Final Destination the greatest all-around complete horror franchise ever made. It may not have the best movies, but as a franchise, I don't think you can do better. Wow. What an award season that was. So many memories. I hope you had fun, because I sure did. If you'd like to know more, please let me know, because I would love to make more videos, and I like to justify my life. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on something, I don't care. Until next time.